Meeting's called to order. Secretary, should we pass them through just a roll call?
President Free,
Present.
Vice President Mandershans,
Present.
Treasurer Marker,
Here.
Parliamentary Navarre, Senator Abai,
Here.
Senator Adams, Senator Allegria,
Here.
Senator Andrews, Senator Baber,
Present.
Senator Belogan,
Yeah.
Senator Billings,
Present.
Senator Byram,
Here.
Senator Bradley,
Here.
Senator Chacon,
Here.
Senator Davis,
Here.
Senator Freshour, Senator Gomarian,
Here.
Senator Guy,
Here.
Senator Karina Hernandez, Senator Christian Hernandez,
Here.
Senator Jumper,
Present.
Senator Leverett,
Here.
Senator Lear,
Here.
Senator Luna, Senator Hannah Mahfood, Senator Maggie Mahfood, Senator Martin, Senator Martinez,
Here.
Senator Medina,
Here.
Senator Miller,
Present.
Senator Musney,
Here.
Senator Ushina,
Here.
Senator Rogers,
Here.
Senator Schultz,
Here.
Senator Segal, Senator Shelton, Senator Shipley, Senator Seid,
Here.
Senator Templeman,
Here.
Senator Toole,
Here.
Senator Williams,
Here.
and Senator Yen.
Here.
All right, thank you. Is there any discussion about the minutes from 1022? All in favor of approving the minutes from 1022, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. All right, speaker's podium. Advisor Neves.
So I wanted to talk to y'all. I've had some few concerns, and there's been some comments that have been expressed to me by a few senators throughout the semester. So I've had some time to kind of chew on it a little bit and think about how I wanted to address it with student government. And so I'm not going to go into details about certain incidents that have been called into question, but I do want to talk to y'all, and I want to challenge y'all, and I want y'all to start thinking about what is your legacy going to be here at UT Tyler? What is it that you're going to do that is going to benefit this organization and help it grow? And this is the organization that every student should want to be a part of, because y'all are representing the student body. Y'all are able to voice the concerns, and then y'all have the tools in place to address them. And so I know there's been some concerns of back and forth between senators and whatnot. I want to ask you, how's that benefiting the organization? How's that helping? And so as we progress throughout the school year, anytime that you're thinking about bringing up a voice or a concern or issue that might be going on in your area, ask what are you doing to support that and to help resolve that issue and topic. Because that's the goal of what we're supposed to be doing here, is to serve the students for all students on this campus and all the other campuses as well as part of UT Tyler. So always keep in mind, what are you doing to represent your constituents, your peers, your fellow senators, and yourself at all times. Because y'all should exemplify the best behavior and actions on this student body. Because y'all are the best of the best. You were elected into your seat, now y'all need to show for it. And so as y'all progress throughout the school year, I want y'all to think about that. And I want y'all to exemplify the best behavior and represent the best student body on campus. And so I just wanted to voice that because it has been a concern of mine for a while. I care about y'all. I support y'all. I want this organization to grow like none other on campus. I want students to be fighting to be in your seat because that's what we should be doing. And so if you do have any questions or concerns at any time about something going on in the organization, please do not hesitate to come talk to me about it, because I want to do everything I can to help you and help you put you on the right track to resolve those types of issues and concerns. Okay? That's all I have.
Thank you. Mariani.
Well, first, let me thank you for allowing me to come and present a few ideas to you. And I appreciate the time that you've allowed me to be here. I'm thinking back to when I interviewed for the position here as Food Service Director at UT Tyler. I was challenged to do two things by the people in power at that time. Number one, I was asked to fix Subway. I was told Subway was one of the worst locations on campus and had to be improved. And number two, I was asked to elevate the program as best as I could at the time that we were allowed to be on your campus. And so I hope that we've achieved some of those objectives that I was presented 2 years ago. What I need to know from you is how we're doing in making campus dining at UT Tyler a superb and excellent program for you and something you enjoy and want to take involvement in and don't want to figure out where else can I eat. I don't want to eat down in the Met, or I don't want to be at one of the locations upstairs. So we have some processes in place that I ask you to take advantage of and let us know how we're doing. One process is called VOC, Voice of the Consumer. I'm sure you've seen these little cards all over the place. They kind of look like this. And we give them out at the registers, and we have them at all our locations. This is a snapshot for you to tell us how did we do today at 5:30 at the Met. How was the food? That way I can go back and see exactly at that moment what was going on, what was right, what was wrong, what can I fix. In September, we received 109 responses on that program. And 109 responses represents about 8% of the people who are on meal plans at the campus. There's right now about 1,279 meal plans. So 8% to me in the first month that we really initiated that program, I thought it was a really good and substantial amount of people who let us know how we were doing. So first off, of that 108, 109, we had 5 what we call rescues. Rescues are areas where somebody told us we didn't do a very good job, we muffed it. That boat didn't float that day and we didn't do it right. The others were all wows, what we call was when we did a good job and somebody said, you know, your girl at the subway was really polite tonight. We really appreciated coming here to service was fast. I'm not going to talk about the wows. I want to let you know about the rescues, the 5 rescues we had in September, why they're very important. One rescue said that our cereal was stale. I know that sounds kind of trivial, but if you're having cereal and it's stale, it's not trivial anymore. It's something that's really important to us, important to you and to us. The other one was that our fruit was soggy and not a lot of choices. And so we went back, had a manager's meeting, and we discussed how do we solve the problem for cereal being stale. We put a program into place. I think if you've been down in the Met, you've seen that we have upgraded our food options that we have available now, much better than we used to have. In fact, I talked to the chef today about starting to bring pears back in, peaches that we haven't had for a while. So we addressed that issue. And the neat thing about that particular complaint came from one student. And she didn't put her name on there. She didn't have an email, so I couldn't respond to her. Last week, I'm over in the study grounds at our coffee shop, and a student came in, and I see her in there all the time, and I see her in the Met all the time, and I asked her, well, how's your food? And she said, well, you know, at the beginning of September, it wasn't that good. In fact, I sent you guys an email saying that it wasn't that good. And I said, are you the person who sent me the email that said that the cereal was stale? And she said, yeah, I did. I said, well, how's it doing now? She said, it's really good. Those are the kind of things that I need to know. I need to have some options from you of what are the challenges and things that we have to address. In October so far, we've had 87 responses. We've had one, what we call the rescue once again. And that particular rescue was we don't have any healthy items in our C-store. And so I've looked into how we can order organic items and more healthy items for our C-store. And that process will happen. I don't know if it'll happen until maybe the middle of November. But we're reaching out to our suppliers, and we're going to have at least 3 or 4 organic options in the C-store so that you have some choices on what can be considered a healthy option by you. So I tell you about that because it's important. It's important that I have your feedback. It's important that I know what do you think is right and what do you think is wrong and how do we fix it. So the WOW program that I just discussed is kind of a snapshot. This is how we were right this minute. What's going on right now is also called our dining style surveys. I don't know if you've seen any of those little cards out there asking you to get online, take the survey. Take the survey, we give you a free pack of gum, kind of an incentive to go do it. If you chew gum, it's a great incentive. If you don't, well, it's not. But at any rate, we need those responses too, and that's a bigger picture. That's what do we see on the whole campus, all right? Where one is a snapshot, this one, the dining style, is a 30,000 foot overview of what does UT Tyler campus look like right now, how are we doing, and what do students want to see? Someone just asked me, is there a possibility that we could put a Chick-fil-A on the other side of campus, on the west side? We understand that that side of campus is underserved in the food venues. We know that. It's going to be part of our process and our representation to the university that we put something over there. But those are the kind of information packets we need to hear from you. What would you like to see going on? So I ask you to just go out, talk to your fellow students, fellow friends, everybody, and ask them if they'll just tell us how we're doing, especially in the dining style surveys. The wow is an immediate response. We're going to address those quickly. But the dining styles is going to give us an overview of where do we think UT Tyler campus and food service should be in the next 5 years. That's really what we're looking at. You'll see starting next week, there'll be people out asking surveys, questions about how far do you walk, where do you live, what would you like to see on campus besides the locations that we already have, where would you like them to be placed. And so that's all part of our process of coming together and letting the university see our plan for the future. But if you want to, and it's okay with you guys, I'd be happy to take any questions anybody has, because I don't want to overrun my here. Does anyone have any questions about campus dining we have to address? Okay, do you like it? Yes.
I mean, I'll say that I started as a freshman here in 2008. I did my undergrad here and I'm working on graduate now. And the Met was atrocious then. And it also wasn't where it is now. Then we got our UC renovation and it looked cool, but the food was so bad. And I ate at the Met the other day with a friend and it was a lot better. And it was probably the first time I'd eaten there in like 3 years prior because it had been so horrible in the past. I was like, there's no reason I would waste my money there. So I will say that like there have been a lot of improvements and you can see it just going in there and food actually smells good. It doesn't just smell like a questionable food item anymore.
And you know, if you're not on a meal plan and you want to take advantage of eating in the Met, seriously, for $6 you can get it. You can get a card and go get it at the C-store and each meal is only $6. And that's what I would do if you're interested in that. Yes.
So I'm a freshman and I have the 15 meal plan, so I go there a lot. But every like once in a while I'll like on the weekends it's only like lunch and dinner. And I want to swipe my card twice during like lunchtime or something, and the lunch lady told me that I can't eat there twice in one period of time. I wonder if that could be changed, because sometimes I just don't feel like eating during dinner time, maybe like twice during like 12, and then, I don't know.
I think the break point is 3 or 3:30, because they open at 10. I think they go 10 to 3:30 for brunch, and I believe 3:30 goes to 7:30 for dinner. And you're right, the cards can only be swiped one time during a meal period. That's a program that's part earmarked that I represent and part of the school's plan on how those meal plans were going to work. But I could find out for you. I don't have a real problem because a lot of people bring that up. They come in on Sunday morning and they get brunch at 10 o'clock or 10:30, and then they don't want to wait till 5 o'clock to come back. I don't particularly personally have a problem with it. So I'll find out if that's possible to do. We don't administer the meal card program that's administered by the university. So I have to get with them to see if that can be changed.
And also you told me that it's because I live at Patriot Village that I can't swipe it more than once, but people who live in Eagle Landing could swipe twice in one time period. So I thought that was weird.
You have to tell me where you live again?
Patriot Village.
Okay. What she's referring to is there's two different kind of plans. There's one plan, it's the weekly plan, that's the amount of meals that you can have in a week. If you're on, say, the 6-meal plan, the orange plan, you get 6 meals. If you're on blue, it's 4. But the Patriot plan, which exists over at Eagles Landing, that's not a weekly meal plan. That's a semester block plan. They have 15 meals a semester on that plan, which means you actually could come in the first week of the semester and use all 15 meals. Or you could come in at lunchtime with 3 friends and use 3 times. It's a different meal plan, that's why. She was right in what she told you, but she should have explained to you there are different foundations on those meal plans.
Preston, or Senator Councilman?
I just wanted to say, like, last semester, I made it a project of mine to work on some meal plan stuff with Dr. Patterson, and I met with Ms. Mariani and some other people from the Airmark Association, and the amount of work that he has put in since that meeting and implementing stuff in the Met has been tremendous, and it has vastly improved in my opinion. So as far as like what you're getting as a meal plan is quite good in my opinion, and I really appreciate what all he has taken into consideration from what I said in that meeting. So he's done a very good job on my opinion.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just would like also consideration of the population of the students. Like they have a lot of Indian people in the school these days. And sometimes Indian people might want to come to the dining and eat if there could be a different mixture of different kind of food in the dining that would bring a lot of Indian people to be able to see that food is coming from their culture as well. So that would kind of fit, because a lot of them live in those housing. They don't have no choice. They also live in the housing around here. And at the same time, when university is going to be bought by the school, so that means they're going to be added to the plan as well. I think that's the route is going to go. So a lot of Indian people live there now, and they would like to compete and then. So just a concern for the future.
I think that's an excellent question. And I think just recently, 2 days ago, I received an email from a professor asking me for International Week, if they could come in and use our kitchen and get some meals appropriate for some of the international students. I haven't responded to it yet, because I first have to check and make sure from an insurance point of view we're covered. That would be okay. But also what we're learning from that is how to make some of those foods. And so I'm really in favor of doing that. As soon as I get an answer whether it's okay and appropriate for her and her staff to come in and do that, we will do it. And we'll learn some things on how to make something. I agree with you 100%. I think sometimes our menus, to be quite frank with you, the way the menus are constructed for Aramark, they're constructed by some chefs. 5 or 6 chefs get together at the beginning of a school year, and they come up with programs on what the meal should be. Look, I worked in New Orleans for 5 years, loved the cuisine in New Orleans, and I don't get to see that very much in our menus. I love the cuisine of Texas, and you don't see chicken fried steak very often. You don't see biscuits and gravy very often. We have the ability to change some of that. I'm working with my new culinary chef to get some of that changed. But your point is absolutely correct, not only for international students, but also for people from Texas and people from Louisiana and stuff that come here that don't see the kind of menus. They see a lot of menus that I kind of think are northern menus. Yes, sir.
I'm a senior. I live off campus, still have a meal plan. I'll probably start if I didn't have it. So something that I've noticed that has actually been relevant through my experience with the Met has been I came with friends that did not have meal plans, that would just have minimum, and they'd have the block meals, or they would live off campus and they just wouldn't have meal plans. And as you mentioned, you can purchase the $6 meal cards from the C-store for, if you purchase those, which I don't think the awareness is that high, because everybody will just walk up to the cash register and they'll say, okay, well, it's $9 if you pay here, but if you go up to the C-store, it's $6. Is that correct?
Yes.
Well, something maybe is if you were to bring those cards down to and sell them at location at the or maybe offer some sort of a rewards program to go along with that, because I mean many times like I brought in people that didn't have meal plans, and they would be discouraged from actually purchasing a $9 meal, and their awareness of going upstairs, I mean they didn't have that walking into the situation.
Okay.
So maybe just consolidate the
I see no reason why we can't sell them. We've traditionally sold them at the C-store. That was the program. There's no reason we can't sell them downstairs either. A little difficult when we're really busy. I mean, realize right now, I don't know if you use the Met very often, but there are times now in the Met when all the seats are full and people are sitting outside. It's the first time in 2 years since I did it. Just so we have some numbers, last year fall semester was 935 students on meal plans. Now it's 1279, so huge difference.
And is there any way possibly y'all could think about maybe making an automated, like a quick kind of, because I mean sometimes at lunch, like you go at 12 and all the freshmen are getting out of their labs and everything, there's a line out the door that's 50 people long, and it'll take 20 minutes to get through that line. Maybe something like a quick swipe or a quick pass, or like a something like that.
Yeah,
like
those
a scanner.
are proposals we would have to make to the university. And University of Duke, as I said earlier, we don't administer, nor do we sell any of the meal plans. All that is done through the university, and the Blackboard system is theirs. Oh, your time, I understand. But those are all good points. I will let you know if we're going to do that, because I see them quite often.
Yeah, residence halls.
I'll start to spell them down there next one. Fair enough.
One more question.
One more question. We got to come back here.
Heidi, you want to go ahead and ask your question?
Yeah, well, I was just wondering about what kind of food services, or if there's been any discussion for, having food services at the satellite campuses, or if that is dependent on, like a residence hall or something like that. We have vending machines, a vending machine, but,
There's
Pardon?
They're from Longview.
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 There was, to answer that, there was some discussion last year about serving the Palestine and Longview campuses.
Oh.
The problem with that for us is economically, it's not feasible. There was no place on either of those locations where we could set up kitchens.
Yeah.
To set up a kitchen, we have to transport. And when we're transporting from here, the Palestine was the one they were really focusing on with us. It's just not practical. So,
Okay.
it's been discussed, the university wanted to do it, but when all the numbers are put together, they realized at this point, until there was some actual facility there where we could use it, it's not a practical idea for us right now.
Okay.
Thank you, and I appreciate you coming, and we're glad that you came. And if anyone has any more questions, feel free to email him or grab him. I see him in the UC all the time, and he's a pleasure to talk to. So
Thanks, I really appreciate it.
grab him in the UC sometimes.
Thank you. Let us know your thoughts.
Thank you.
We have one more speaker. Got one more speaker here.
Yeah.
Perfect. Orientation is correct.
Yes, yeah.
Fantastic. All right.
Okay. We'll stand here.
Wherever you like.
Okay.
Wherever you like.
Awesome. So hi, my name is John Patrick Finian. I go by JP for short. And I'm here to speak to you all today about applying to be an orientation leader for the summer. I am what is known as a orientation student coordinator. That means that in one of the years past, for the most recent year, I worked as an orientation leader over the summer and applied for this position. And in this position, I work directly under the I forget who, I think he is the
Coordinator for New Student and Family
Right.
Programs.
right, that. Yeah, so I work directly under him. Myself and 3 other past orientation leaders applied for the position and went through interviews and all that good stuff, and got this job. And again, we're sort of like his team that basically does all of his dirty work this semester and throughout this course of the semester, and specifically at one of our sort of retreat type things. Jamal, with the help of our good friend Josh Neves, have been sort of training us and really getting us prepared in sort of a more, I guess I don't really know how to put it. It's very sort of formal view or formal stature when it comes to the orientation program. And he is teaching us all that good stuff, how to be like a sort of student professional in means of putting together training, hiring, interviewing, all that good stuff, and sort of having us work to sort of carry the program. What is New Page Orientation? It is obviously the orientation that the freshmen and transfer students, basically any sort of new student coming to UT Tyler, goes through to sort of learn the ins and outs and all that good stuff, and what it's like to be at UT Tyler, like what they have to look forward to, and all that good stuff. It is primarily composed of, has it been approved for 5 freshman orientations? Yeah. Right. Recently, we were approved to implement adding a extra orientation session. In the past years, that had only been 4. This year, we got approved to do 5 for those who sort of can't make it. It's like a late freshman orientation sort of session. That's something we've never had before. But those sessions are made of 2 days. I think the logistics are nice. Oh. Right. No, sorry, no. It's a 2. There is a 2-day program, and that is for the freshman orientations, and a sort of 1-day program we have for our transfer students. And these are the sessions that you guys would be responsible for, freshmen, and pairing up and doing all that good stuff with them. Orientation leaders, like it says here, they basically are the face, and by that we mean that these are the first people that these sort of new students UT Tyler meet. They are the first friends that they make. They are the first sort of informants or people that they get to know at their first time here. Especially being a freshman, it's a very sort of critical experience to have. You know what I mean? We'd like to be able to give them a good experience. Help them transition as smoothly possible as they can from that sort of high school stage into being used to and adjusted to college. And you as orientation leaders are the ones that are there to sort of guide them in that purpose. As it says here, things we look for in orientation leaders are a positive and enthusiastic attitude. And that definitely does not mean that you have to be super cheery all the time or super in your face, everyone about how energetic you are or whatever have you. What we look for in orientation leaders is sort of, yes, that attitude when it's appropriate. And even if that is not, you 100%, or if you don't even sort of associate with being super outgoing or anything like that, we have a place for you as an orientation leader. It's a sort of mesh of different personalities, whether they are outgoing or whether they aren't, and they have their own different strengths and whatnots. That is what we're looking for when we mean, having all these sort of things like, the skill to be able to talk to, small groups of people. It's a little bit of public speaking, in that sense. Even though it is your sort of small group, it is still sort of you leading and guiding. And I know some people struggle with that, but that is one of the things we're either looking for, or we're looking for people to sort of, are willing to embrace that and bring that out of them and learn to grow in that skill of public speaking or whatever have you. Some of the perks here we have are, again, the logistical sort of things that sort of prepare you for life past college and sort of things you get out as a person from being an orientation leader, being team building, being able to network, again, public speaking skills, and sort of getting to know people on campus that you wouldn't typically know. Like, I can't say, I don't really know personally too many people that would be able to say that, oh, like I've met and worked closely with the Dean of Students here, Edie Tyler, Ms. Owner Tolliver. She's worked very closely over the student, like the new Patriot Orientation program in the past couple of years, and it's getting to meet people like her and all these VPs and everyone that you sort of bring to the table when it comes to informing everyone of these different things. You get to know them and you get to network in that sense. And then also, along with other perks are, UT Tyler gear, obviously getting to meet new people, make new friends and all that stuff, and then up to $500 pre-taxed, depending on how many sort of sessions you can work and all that good stuff. These are the old dates. These were the dates for the 4 sessions that we had planned. I don't sort of know when the
I don't have the 5th session off my head, but the 5th session will be added into June, so we'll have 3 in June and 2 in July. And then transfer 1, there'll be 2 in August as of right now.
Right, and those are sort of the dates that you would be looking to really commit to when it comes to working as an orientation leader. And one thing that we like to stress about that is that those dates that we have here, and obviously you'll be reminded of even though they're not up there right now, are dates you have like right now and you will have going into the spring. If you have any complications like that, over the summer, like family vacation or whatever have you, or anything like that, you have those dates from now to sort of look forward to. And then in the spring, even if going into the spring, that date isn't cleared up on its own, it's just one of those things that you can sort of work and be flexible with. I know that's an issue that a lot of people have when they apply for being an orientation leader, like, oh, I'm super busy over the summer and I don't know when my vacation time is. We would prefer for everyone to work all 5 of the sessions, but we understand that if like a family obligation or anything like that comes up, as long as you can sort of foresee it or let us know in time, it's something that we can work with. These are the requirements that we have for being an orientation leader: having a minimum of a 2.0, being in good standing with judicial affairs, being enrolled for next semester, and then being enrolled to return in the fall of 2016 is one of the other requirements, and then to obviously attend the interview dates and all the training sessions and everything like that, because how else are we going to lead if you can't learn? Here is the information on applying to be an orientation leader. We have the applications up in the 3rd floor of the Student Life and Leadership Office on the 3rd floor of the UC. We have an interest meeting that is coming up on Friday, let's say Thursday, right? Okay, so tomorrow, yes, tomorrow at 4 p.m., just in case you guys need any more information, and we'll also have applications and stuff like that there. Also, if you know any people interested or if you have any friends that you think would be interested, you can bring them there so they can sort of get the information that I've given you. And the applications are due next Friday. If you are interested in applying and you want to get the application and everything turned in, we have the references, you can do so as long as the reference letter is turned in by next Friday. But anytime in between now, you can fill out sort of the general information and a couple questions that we have and get that in so that we know that, to be expecting your reference letter. If on the off chance that your reference letter can't be here by November the 6th, next Friday. And then if you are, once you apply, what we have is a group process. We'll have a day where all the applicants come in, go through different group sort of training process to see sort of how you perform and whatnot and get to know you guys a little bit. After that, we will be sort of filtering through the ones that were interested, invite them back for a one-on-one interview with myself and my other coworkers and our boss, Jamal. And then on November 30th, that is when the prospective orientation leaders will be chosen, and those will be moved on to training in the spring. Right. And then we have sort of little silly pictures that we have of last year's orientation leaders. This is us sort of doing our thing. This was my family over the summer last year. I got to know all of them and got to know and love them. Yeah, I think next slide. If you guys have any questions, I'm here to answer them. Anyone have any right now? If not, again, tomorrow at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we'll be up on the 3rd floor of the UC answering questions, and we have applications there as well.
Thank you. Fantastic. Thank you.
That'll be done.
Thank you, guys. Really quick, I don't have a whole lot today. Secretary Shinny Basson and I had lunch with a few executive vice chancellors from UT System and President Mabry and Dr. Patterson, and had a good talk about some of the issues that are facing campus. And it was good. They had really good food, so I was happy with that. And then since we love free food, next Thursday we're also having dinner right after this with President Mabry. So just keep that in mind. Other than that, I don't have anything. It's been a fairly light week other than committee work. So that's President Mabry.
Make sure you guys RSVP for that Mabry dinner. Send it to SGA at Patriots so that they know you're there. Committee assignments, still working on it. We'll get it done next week. Senator of the Month, because it is new, goes to Mr. Sean Rogers. So congratulations, Sean Rogers. For those that don't know, real quick about Senator of the Month, it's someone who has excelled and worked harder than some of the other senators, and it's something that we nominate ourselves. And we like to see that you guys are continually working hard, reaching out to your constituents, being early in things, showing up, and putting in the time. So that award goes to Sean Rogers for this month. So come pick it up, man. I'm gonna get a picture with you at the very end. And that's all I have.
Perfect. Secretary Shinny Basson.
I have nothing to say for
Treasurer McCurt.
All right, hello everybody. Thanks for coming tonight, you guys. I just wanted to say I think it's awesome that we have people like JP and Mr. Mariani coming to speak at Speaker's Podium. I think it's nice when people kind of keep us in the loop and update on what's going on. If any of you know people who want to come get their word out that they're doing something, please have them contact Alex or contact one of us so we can put them on the agenda. I think it's great to hear from students and other faculty and staff members here at the school. This week I was just busy with SGAC stuff. We approved 2 groups. We can talk about that later here. And we have another group coming next week, so the requests are coming in, which is good to hear and to have. Finished the flyers this week as well for SGAC, so we'll be sending those off to the print shop early next week, most likely.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
I have a question for the treasury. This question might be of interest to other people that listen to this. Concerning in the spirit of transparency, just I would like that some of the, like when you talk about budget, when you give response now, if for the week, what we've been able to spend on, for the week in the overall budget, if there's a way that you could also share that with us, I would this time, if it's possible.
Do you want to come up to me after and we can talk about that and we can figure out the logistics with all that?
Yes.
All right, so for the expenditure log, are you keeping track of your expenditures?
Of course we are. Not only am I, Joshua Neves is as well. And when we decide to purchase something as an organization, it how it works is our budget has multiple different lines in it, and each committee has a line in that budget, or multiple lines. And so they decide how they feel it's appropriate to spend that line. And so they have to approve that expenditure. Like Jacob with his committee, they have to approve the food for like a retreat that we had 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. So they have to approve it. Then Jacob, they have to get an invoice and they give that to me. I put that into the log. I give that to Josh. He has to approve it as well. And then other people that approve it are our other advisor, Dr. Patterson, who also approves it is Ona Tolliver, the Dean of Students, who is our budget authority. There's two other people, the administrative assistant for our department, and Katie Klein is the administrative assistant for Ona Tolliver. And also our budget is approved at the very start of the year, or well, like February, January, by the Student Fee Advisory Committee. And so they look at how we spent our money each year, and they have to approve our budget for the next year. So yes, I am keeping track of it, and so are others.
I'm just making sure. And also, I would like to request a copy.
Okay.
Of the expenditure log.
Can you either write me a request or email? Yeah, and then you can just give that to me after the meeting tonight.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have much till we get to rules committee, but I just wanted to remind you guys, if you haven't turned in the senator verification form, make sure you get that in as soon as possible to John, or it'll be an unexcused absence.
Under new business, I spoke to Senator Shipley. We felt like it was in his best interest to resign, so that seat is open. I have looked around and I have found a person that I feel like would make a great example of a senator, and he's here with us today. Miles, would you like to come up here and address the body, please? Just tell them about yourself for just a minute.
My name is Miles Irwin. I'm a public relations student, so College of Arts and Sciences. My minor is international relations, so I'm in political science as well. I'm a senior here, but I'm looking to continue on into the preceding year, into this end of the fall. And I look forward to potentially representing my constituents.
Do you have anything else you'd like to add or listen? Will you walk outside with her? Thank you. And then we come back in. All right, so essentially the process is the president can appoint people. They have to be confirmed by the Senate by a 2/3 vote. And so if there's any discussion about Mr. Zierlein, we can talk about it if you have anything other than that. If there's any discussion.
Have you looked at anybody?
I've known Mr. Zierlein for a while now. He's on the cross country and track team. He's always been very friendly to me and very welcoming. He's also very friendly and welcoming to others as well. I think he'd be a good contribution. He's very outspoken, and he likes to talk to other people. He's kind of a big talker. So he could be a good kind of like he'd be a good voice for the students and good voice for SGA as well. Those are my thoughts and opinions of him.
Thank you. Yes.
Have we taken into account anybody from the previous election that we just had?
Yeah, I talked to a couple people. Like I said, he's one that's been asking to be a part of SGA, and I felt like he'd be a great representation of the Senate. Vice President Binghamton?
Yeah, he's a very strong intellectual guy, and so he could definitely help us out greatly. I've known him for 3 years. Fantastic guy, so I'd like to motion to vote.
Second. Thank you. All right, all in favor of? Yes.
I'd call division. So I'd just like to vote on that. I have a question I'd like to ask.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
Okay, but we're not going to vote or anything.
We got a motion was seconded. So
okay, well, I divided on it. So
okay.
On our Robert's rules, technically we should be voting on it. But if you're fine with just disregarding
that, we're
going
to vote on it. Yeah. That's what the motion was seconded. So.
Okay.
Right. What would you like to do?
I would like to ask a question, but if we're following Robert's rules,
yes, which we are.
He's saying we have to vote on the division that he just motioned.
Right.
So all
but I just wanted to ask a question. That's all I'm trying to do, basically. That's what I'm saying.
All those in favor of the division, please say aye.
Aye.
Any all opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? All right, can I see a show of hands? That's what I'm gonna do. All right, all those in favor of the division, please raise your hand. Okay, all opposed? Okay, any abstentions? All right, that motion has failed. Thank you. The previous motion was outspoken and it was seconded, and that was to vote on Mr. Zealand for the Arts and Science Senator. All right, all in favor of approving Mr. Zealand, please raise your hand. Thank you. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. That motion is passed, and he will be he is the newest member of the SGA. Vote, would you please put him in? Thank you.
Would you vote in favor for Orby? Would you work for
Any other new business for today? No? All right.
Is this under new business?
We're under new business, yes.
New business, okay. I'd like to make a motion to briefly discuss Robert's rules. As a new senator, this is my first semester here. I feel like there's some complications, but that would be my motion, just to have a brief discussion. I know we've used a lot of time today, but just briefly.
All right. All in favor of having a discussion about Robert's rules, please raise your hand. Okay, all opposed? Okay, any abstentions? That motion has also failed. Thank you. Any other new business? No? All right, we bring him in.
Here.
Oh, he's in. Where is he? Oh, Miles, can you come back up here, please? Thank you. Thank you. He's ready to do this. Put your name here. Ready? Here you go. All right,
Miles Irwin,
you solemnly swear.
that I shall
No,
faithfully
follow me. You solemnly swear
swear
that I shall faithfully represent
that I shall faithfully represent
the interests of the student body
the interests of the student body
of the University of Texas at Tyler.
of the University of Texas at Tyler.
I shall dutifully uphold and preserve
I shall dutifully uphold and preserve
the Constitution and bylaws of the student body
the Constitution and bylaws of the student body
while ardently executing the office of
executing the office of Political Sciences.
The Student Government Association of the University of Texas at Tyler.
of the Student Government Association of the University of Texas at Tyler.
Any other new business? All right, student life.
We just had a quick meeting today. We're gonna set up a Meet Your Senator event on November 16th on Harvey Deck. Gonna get our food. CC's Pizza is gonna be the primary choice for now. And it's gonna be from 11 to 2, and we're still gonna work on Angel Tree, so we'll give you more details soon.
Thank you. Communications?
Preston?
Yes.
We kind of just discussed the moving back of the Meet Your Senator event to coordinate with Student Life. That was what we had been working on the previous weeks as well, and then we realized it was not feasible to do it that fast, so we pushed it back and discussed other dates.
Thank you.
Thank you.
SGC?
This meeting, we have a meeting yesterday, and the meeting took longer than usual. It was there for like 1 hour, 30 minutes. But we were able to give money to the Indian Student Association and the Global Patriots. For the Indian Student Association, we give them money because we did our due diligence on them. And we find out that they're actually going to promote an event on campus that is going to build a Indian experience. They're going to share their culture. Benefit is all domestic students to get to know their Indian classmates and to give the Indian students a sense of belonging in the community. So that's what the event is going to be about for the Indian students. And for the Global Patriots, the purpose as is going to benefit everyone is is bringing global awareness and opportunities to learn from international students. And these events are all open to all students. So the Indian students, they're going to be having theirs in the ballroom, November 4th. So people could go there and enjoy and be part of that. And November 12th, the whole IP. I don't know if you're familiar with the whole IP building, right on Varsity. People could go in there too and enjoy, and they're gonna have a lot of good food. And we actually, for the Indian people, we're gonna be the ones sponsoring their food at Taj Mahal. They're gonna be getting food from Taj Mahal. So students, anyone is an open event, so students could go in there and enjoy the meal with them and have fun and learn for the Indian culture, because this is the culture that we're creating and keep it up. So that's what we did this.
Thank you. Rules committee.
So today in the Rules Committee, we talked about the edits that we're wanting to do to the Constitution. We have some edits and amendments that we're working on, and we set up a timeline for approval and the whole process of bringing it to GA and everything like that. So I look forward to hearing more about it next week.
Thank you. Advisor News.
I do not have any comments. Well, I take that back. I do have one slight comment. This is for the satellite centers. The executive board will be addressing your involvement in committees at the upcoming General Assembly meeting.
Any announcements? Okay. All right.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor of adjournment, please say aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? Or I'm sorry, any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Secretary, should we ask the second roll call?
Person Free.
Here.
Vice President Mandersham. Treasurer Markert. Parliamentary Navarre. Senator Abai. Senator Adams. Senator Alegria. Senator Andrews. Senator Vapor. Senator Belogan.
Here.
Senator Billings.
Here.
Senator Byram.
Here.
Senator Grassley. Senator Chacon.
Here.
Senator Davis.
Here.
Senator Freshour. Senator Gamarian. Senator Guy. Senator Hernandez. Or sorry, Senator Christina Hernandez.
Sorry, Christina Hernandez.
I'm sorry, Karina Hernandez. Senator Christian Hernandez. Senator Jumper. Senator Leverett.
Here.
Senator Louvier.
Here.
Senator Luna. Senator Hannah Mahfood. Senator Maggie Mahfood. Senator Martin. Senator Martinez.
Here.
Senator Medina.
Here.
Senator Miller.
Here.
Senator Musni. Senator Olushina. Senator Rogers.
Here.
Senator Schultz.
Here.
Senator Segal. Senator Shelton. Senator Shipley. Senator Said. Senator Templeman. Senator Toole.
Here.
Senator Williams. Here. Senator Yen. So Senator Zierlein.
Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.
All right.